Harrisburg Stampede. Justin Coble with
I gotta change the freaking...
Oh, there it is.
Basically, they were playing
Major
Major League with a real game, yeah.
Oh, shit, there's the Hattie.
Welcome to episode 98 of the Not Another Sports Podcast, the home of sports talk for the average Joe, the zennial home of sports talk. Happy New Year. My name's Jason.
I'm David.
And welcome aboard. Since the holiday break, our Facebook group has been very active. Would you say not?
Oh, I'd say it's been active. Which is fantastic.
I mean, yeah, it's absolutely exactly what I want. I wanted this to be an active place. I wanted people to be talking. And we've had people share posts. It's not just, the two of us all the time. It's people in the group. I'm not going to lie. My favorite post in the last 2 weeks was from Mark Hertwick in our group. He posted, "Time zones are wild on New Year's Eve. Australia's in 2025. The USA is still in 2024. Yankees fans are still in 2009. And without even looking, I knew my dad was the unhappy face reaction to the post. And it just cracked me up so much.
I also could have put Cowboys are still in the 90s.
Well, I got hit in the comments. One of our admin, Vernon Stevenson, posted, "And the Phillies are still in 2008." Jason DiAgostino. I don't know if you saw the GIF response I posted to him, but it was salty.
Oh no, I'm actually on it right now, and I see that. It's like, oh, that's funny.
But I mean, I'm really glad we started this group. We've had a lot of really cool posts just over the holiday break, which I was surprised by. And I guess we should just real mention it just as I'm scrolling through here since we last recorded. Greg Gumbel passed away, who was, ESPN Sports Center in the 80s, really known for his time with CBS Sports, but I can't believe he was 78. Like, that doesn't...
Yeah, no.
I didn't think he was that old.
I didn't think he was that old either. I didn't think that at all.
But
yeah, some of the stuff that were posted, just, again, just scrolling through some of the interesting things. Like the one that Jason Gross, hope I said your last name right there, when he posted that they were playing, looked like NHL 98, 96, maybe, like the old school Sega, Sega graphics and all that stuff on the big screen at the Winter Classic. That was great.
I'm not gonna lie, for a second there before it panned to the screen, I'm like, you can't, there's no way they're playing NHL hits, because we talk about it so much, and that's a big part of our gameplay videos. And I won't lie, I was a little bummed out that it was one of the old EA 16-bit games.
It would have been cool if it was hits.
It would have been amazing if it was hits.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
But we have a lot of fun in this group, and we'd like you all to join if you listen to the show, or if you follow the show. And the link is in the description of the episode, so you can just click on it as soon as you pull up the episode. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun over there. Not just fun sports stuff. Like I post a lot of serious, questions and interesting historical things, because I'm a nerd. But we're having a good time over here at the NASPOD MVPs group. So let's get into it here. Topic 1 of the week is single season records. And David, you have the question specifically: if you break a single season record in more games than the previous holder, is it considered breaking the record? Here's my stance on it. If it's a single season record and they break that record within the season, the regular season, I can't see why it isn't breaking the record.
Yeah, I've had this question brought up to me, and then I've seen it again on, when just browsing the internet, I've seen it again where like it's basically all focused around Saquon Barkley's with with the running record, being that uh, I just saw his name 5 minutes ago. Who holds
Oh
it?
yeah,
Eric
Eric
Dickerson.
Dickerson.
Dickerson. I just saw it 5 minutes ago too. I'm just, what the hell? That he did it in 16 games. Barkley would have done it in 17. Would it be considered still breaking a record, being he did it in more games? And then, it's like, okay, this might be an interesting topic, not just with football, but with other sports, because I know certain records were broken in more games than, like let's say for the NHL. I think I just had it here. I think Timu had a record he broke with 84 games the one season, and Gretzky did it in 80 games. I forget what the record actually was. Offhand now. So is it still considered that he broke the record, despite it was more or less games? Now, if it was less games, yeah, you broke it. But yet, if it's more games,
Again, I think if
oh,
it's the regular season, I mean, look,
you
these
break the
records
record,
are
you break the
set
record.
during these records are set, during different time periods,
Oh
and
yeah,
each league, pardon me, each league makes changes over the course of the years.
sometimes a
Between
year.
expanding teams, shortening or lengthening the seasons. I mean, what if someone was to break a record during the COVID seasons that were shortened for some of these leagues, like the NHL, like MLB, like NBA? Do those records not count? I mean, there's so much to take into, and I think the most simplest way to look at it is just to acknowledge that if the record
That the
is
person did it.
broken in the regular season, they've set the new record.
You know,
Um,
that's the way I look at it. I just want, it's just neat to hear other people's perspective on what they think a record should be. If it's X amount of games that this person did it, they need to do it in they need to do it in that amount of games or less. It's one of those types of things. It was interesting to hear other people's perspective that, that I was reading and also talking with prior to this,
right.
just in general. Which I feel, okay, you break the record again, like you just said, single season record. You broke it in the season. There you go. Merry Christmas. Great job. Now you're in the books. But then when you hear other people, well, he did it in 16 games. He's going to do it in 17. How is that breaking a record when he did it in more games? Like, okay, I get it, but
I think if you're going to get lost in the weeds like that, pretty much anything's going to trip you up. Um,
yeah,
I mean, if you want to
it could go either
nitpick
way.
these things, I mean, look, everyone knows, my go-to sport is baseball. If I'm gonna nitpick over a lot of these things, I'll be here until next year. Um, the everyone who wants to put an asterisk beside Sosa and McGuire for 98. I mean, I get it. They tamper,
The
but
steroid
at the
error.
same, but it was that era of baseball, and those things weren't being tested for, and it's we can argue the semantics all we want, but if it occurred within the allotted regular season, I don't see why it doesn't count. It just seems like then you're just grasping at straws to find an excuse why it shouldn't count. Um,
It could be that too. It could be that people are upset that a record would be broken for said team, said league.
Oh, and that's absolutely realistic because there are people who are fans of specific teams or even specific players who don't want to see their records broken. I get that. I understand that. But these things are almost inevitable sometimes. I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah.
some records that I don't think will ever get broken. I don't think, just talking baseball wise, I don't think Pete Rose's hits record is going to get broken. I don't think um, Cal Ripken's, games played will get broken. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that the games have evolved so much that records like that won't get broken because guys get more days off now. They're really, even the most Iron Man of players today gets days off.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, like you said, the Pete Rose record.
That isn't a single season record, obviously, but
No,
and
but still,
neither is the Cal Ripken one. But I'm just saying, like,
in general,
there are
yeah.
some records that aren't going to get broken.
Hell, look at Ovechkin. He's chasing
Oh, that
Gretzky,
is
and
one that people thought wouldn't get broken. You're right.
he is within, I believe, 24. He's within 24 now, I think, is the number. I
Oof.
mean, nobody ever thought to say that number. Like he's 24 goals away from Gretzky's, from taking over Gretzky.
That's something we
Because
should post in the group.
because Ovechkin's at 871 and Gretzky
Okay.
was at 894.
And they're still hypothetically 6 months. Well, how many months of the regular season do we have left?
Probably mid-April, maybe.
Okay, so you're looking at about
Well,
almost
here's the
4 months of hockey to be played.
well,
That's
well, here's the funny part though. From what the analysts have said with him, he can if he scores the way he's been going, he could probably break the record mid-March if he keeps on pace the way he's been scoring.
right. I was just
So,
saying, like, figuratively, we have 4 months where he can break this. Um, and I mean, this is a different question. Does that mean Gretzky is no longer the great one? I mean, there's other reasons why Gretzky would be the great one, obviously. But I
well,
mean, modern sports fans look for reasons to elevate modern players.
to me, Gretzky would still be the great one because of all the other records he has. It's not
Because
like
he was in Pro Stars.
yeah.
Oh, so few of you are gonna get that.
Oh God.
I might share an episode of that in the group now, just so the few who get it will have a laugh.
I mean, when when you did everything that Gretzky did for the NHL, like everything that he has broken, and when you first get like I think he was the last one to actually break the induction uh, protocol because for the NHL it's 3 years.
Well, I mean, he's a bit undeniable, wouldn't you say, though?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's one of those things. I think there's only three. He's one of three that had that.
Right.
But just alone, the records that he holds in general,
No, I mean,
I mean, you consider him the great one yet.
in reference to his Pro Stars teammate, Michael Jordan, I mean, people have spent a majority of LeBron James's career comparing him to Michael Jordan, finding ways and means to say that LeBron was better than Jordan. And I don't know.
Well, I
It
saw a
it's
video.
not my place to make that discussion and make that argument. I mean, maybe it's because of my age. I'm Team Jordan. Uh,
Well, I saw something that it was a video with Scottie Pippen. Jordan never called
was this
himself great.
before? Or, was this before or after Jordan's kid started dating Scotty's wife.
That I didn't know, but that's actually damn. Damn. Damn.
Oh man, he
It was
played second fiddle to two Jordans.
oof. But the thing was though, he said Jordan never called himself great. He never called himself the GOAT. He never did all that. Where he went on to say LeBron is calling himself the great, he's calling himself all this. And Pippen said, you don't call yourself that, you let your peers decide that. Like Gretzky, he probably never called himself the great one. You know,
Right.
that's my that's my thought. You let in my opinion, you let your peers call you what needs to be called.
Jesus, I just read a quote. Oh wow.
I know we're getting off topic here of records and that, but
After I mean, but this is a record.
yeah,
LeBron James called himself the GOAT after breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record on February 2023. James said, "I feel like I'm the best basketball player that ever played the game after breaking Kareem's all-time scoring record." He also said, "If I had the number one pick, I would take me." Jesus, there's just a lack of humility there in that one. I mean, I get it. You're feeling really proud of yourself. You broke
but
an unattainable record, but
have some
I think that's
humility.
a symptom of sports, modern sports in general. I think a lot of guys maybe think too highly of themselves at times. A lot of players do, and I mean, you have to have healthy ego to play at that level. I get it, but
That's a bit much, though.
holy cow!
Honestly, though, yeah, that's a bit much to be calling yourself that. And yeah, I mean, come on, that's just a bit much.
Keep in mind, he's 40 now. He's my age. Mother Nature's going to be catching up here sooner than later, physically. Because a 40-year-old can't compete at the same level as, a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, 24-year-old.
Oh, hell no, hell no. Hell, when I got back to playing roller hockey, I was like, "Oh, did I really
I
want
was
to do
gonna
this?"
say you have uh you've experienced it on both ends, actually, being a young man dominating your league in goals and points and assists, and now being a seasoned veteran.
Seasoned, yeah. Sure, we'll go with that.
But
Yeah, a little too seasoned, over
uh
seasoned.
some might say blackened, like like
Oh,
like Cajun food.
oh, 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 that's wrong. Oh,
How do you want your salmon blackened?
oh.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
No, you're
I'm
not.
sorry. We're not spring chickens anymore, and well, I mean, either is Ovechkin. Ovechkin's pushing for 40, isn't he?
Say in a second. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of these guys they're not the young lions anymore.
he is 39. So yeah, he's pushing 40.
Him. I mean, think about it. Him and Crosby are the old guard, which is
Well,
crazy to think about.
yeah, because they Ovechkin came in I think 04, Crosby came in 05, I think it was.
Yeah,
You know,
but I mean, they were, like I said, they were the young lions of their sport. LeBron James was the young lion of his sport, and now these players who are in our age group are now the old guys. They're the veterans.
yeah, they're the ones now, you know, pushing their limits.
Right. I mean, if Ovechkin was to retire after breaking this record, would you fault him? I don't
No,
think so.
no. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer to begin with, for everything he's accomplished over his career. And this goes to
Right.
And this goes to show that what an actual number one draft pick can do. Like him, like Crosby, both number ones, they're both going to the Hall of Fame eventually. There's no two ways about it. Their tickets are punched. It's just when, at this rate.
And bringing it back to Saquon Barkley, who I believe the Eagles are sitting all their starters this week. So
yes, that's what I heard.
He won't be breaking the record. But he's got plenty of football left in him, considering he's only 27. Which feels like it does not feel real to me that he's 27, because I've been hearing his name since college.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Well, here's the funny thing. I was watching an interview with him, and I kind of have respect for him more respect for him after what he said about the record and all that, or about, chasing the records and all that, doing this, doing that. And he was like, we just want to win games. Yeah, record's great, but we have a bigger goal ahead of us. Because he was looking at himself in the back seat and putting the team in the front.
Right.
To me, that says a lot about a player. When he's like, yeah, the record's great. Yeah, the record's fantastic and all. But we have bigger things to worry about. We have bigger things to look at before I even look at a record. Because like every athlete, they want a ring. Right. They want a ring before they hang it up.
Well, I mean, if you listen to a lot of these modern day athletes, professional athletes in their interviews post game, and maybe I'm just speaking from the fact that I watch almost every Phil's post game show, because I'm sick in the head. Someone asked Bryce Harper about records, and he's like, I don't care about records. I care about the team winning. Like, I think a lot of modern professional athletes care more about reaching that destination as a team than setting those personal records. Whereas I hate to say it, I think our generation, our athletes cared more about the records than maybe the team at times. I mean, I think you can point to a specific athletes for each sport during the 90s and early to mid 2000s, maybe even to the late, the early 2010s, who, they were focused on, I'll get a bonus if I set this record, or, it's in my contract. If I set this record, I'll get X amount of this and a sponsorship. Like, it was, so much of accomplishment was tied to personal interests, output, compared to the team's interests. And I think that's so different now. I mean, a lot of modern athletes are signing long-term deals with one team. They want to stay with one team as long as they can. Now, Barkley's different. Obviously, he played, his first few seasons, 2018 to 2023 with the Giants, and now he's an Eagle.
But there are reasons for those types of moves, though. There are reasons for those, like, money-wise, that they can't afford him anymore, or contract disputes, or, there's so many other reasons why players move around.
Right. But a lot of players seek, they're seeking long-term, whereas, well, that's what I was getting at. Not just him, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, just baseball-wise, a lot of big-name players want that security of being in one location for their entire career, or for the majority of their career, let's say.
I mean, hell, look at
and that's a lot different. Go ahead.
Look at two players right now in the NHL, Crosby and Ovechkin. They've been a Penguin in the Capital their whole career. Mike Richter of the '90s, he's a Ranger.
Right. But look at the 15 years prior, and, it wasn't uncommon for an athlete in baseball or football or basketball. I don't think it was a big NHL issue, but it was definitely an issue in MLB and NBA and the NFL, where players would just they'd bounce from place to place. Not, I mean, another example, LeBron James. How many teams has he played for now in the course of his career?
3 or 4?
Off the
3?
top of my head, Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland again. He's with the Lakers. I'm sure I could be missing one right now, but that's off the top of my head without Googling it because I'm lazy. Um,
I got you on that one. I got you.
Shaq, look at how many teams Shaq played for. I mean, it wasn't unheard of. For another example, Alex Rodriguez, Mariners, Rangers, Yankees.
I mean, I know a lot of players will go to. Yeah, it was Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland, then Lakers first for LeBron.
Right.
But the fact though that some players will go for a ring. They won't just stick with that team, work with that team to get that ring. They will go to an already dominant team because that's what they want.
No,
Not,
and
you know,
let's not lie. A lot of these athletes want money, and they'll go to the team that will pay them the most. And previously, they would go to the team that would pay them the most in the shortest amount of time.
yeah. By the way, Shaq is Magic, Lakers, Heat, Suns, Cavaliers, Celtics.
And I would say
I
would say a majority of casual basketball fan, when they think of Shaq, they're thinking probably the Lakers.
Probably with
I still go back
Kobe.
to the Magic, but that's based on my age.
I'm the same way. I think of Shaq. I still think him in that blue Magic jersey. You know?
I'm not gonna lie, I still wish I had my Orlando Magic Horace Grant jersey from the 90s.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, there's just certain look, and no one's thinking about Jordan with the Wizards, so.
Yeah, right.
Oh
Nobody's
boy.
thinking that at all.
I'm good on this topic. I don't think we've really accomplished anything, but we've talked out of our asses for a solid half hour, so I'm pretty happy about that.
So yeah, no, I'm good with that too. So on that note, that is the end of the first half. We'll be right back.